Hello guys, welcome to another video in this channel, another long video in this channel. And as you can see, we have lots of colors here, some rests like leftover of yarn and stuff like that. And what are we going to do with that today? We are going to do a multicolor skirt, and these are the colors that we chose to do this for you. Before I say anything else, don't forget guys, subscribe to the channel, set the notifications so we will always know when we post a new video. Like this video, and after you watch the video, leave us a comment and share it with everybody you know, especially with that person you know is going to do this piece for you, okay? I'm going to draw, so be prepared, but for that I need to turn on my tablet, so I'll be back in a minute with my tablet and a sketch. So guys, here's my sketch. As you know, I am terrible at drawing, okay? So bear with me. This is what you have. Not even the tablet helps my problem. But anyway, I am in free writing mode. So maybe if I did some modification here, it would help. But here we have our skirt, okay? How are we going to work in our skirt? We are going to alternate colors. So for example, we are going to start like 1 or 2 rows in one color. Then we're gonna use black. Life as it is, guys. We're gonna use, I don't know why, there's a, I think my pen doesn't wanna work in black, but for example, we have an intermediate color, black, then we're gonna have red, then black again, then blue, then black again, and so it goes, okay? It's gonna be a striped skirt. And we need 3 measures. 2 are mandatory and 1 is optional, okay? The mandatory measurements are the hip width, okay? And the other is the height. Oh God. The finger works better, I think, than the pencil. The height of your skirt, okay? So you need to know the hip width and the height of the skirt in your body. You can count from waist down or below your belly button down. The height will be determined by you. And the optional measurement is going to be the waist. The waist, okay? This measurement is optional because it will only work if you want to use some elastic, an elastic band for your hips and not something that you will tie down, okay? So that's basically how your skirt is going to be. Obviously that the crochet is gonna be much better than this terrible draft that I have just done, okay? So you're gonna need as many colors as you want, okay? Here we chose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 colors, 7 very different colors. You're gonna need scissors, of course, maybe markers, but I'm not so sure. I will be using here a 2.5 crochet hook because this kind of yarn here, cotton yarn, has a 300 tacks, around 300 tacks, and they even recommend that you use a 2mm hook, but I'm gonna use it a little larger than that. and obviously measuring tape, okay? I will clear this table and I will show you in the next video our color scheme, and then we can start working. So guys, before we start working, let's talk about the color scheme. It's very small, I know, but you will understand. So, as I told you, as I showed you in the video, we are going to alternate main colors and intermediate colors. We are going to start with the brown, okay? Then we are going to have 2 rows, 1 row in black, 1 row in golden to make it a little shiny. Then we are going to use red. Then again, we are going to have 1 row of black and 1 row of golden. Then we're gonna move to Tiffany blue. Then again, black and golden, white, black and golden, light brown, or beige or something like that, okay? And we are going to do this, and if we are going to follow this sequence again or then go back like the opposite order, that is going to be determined by the height of the skirt, okay? Because each main color is going to, we are going to work on a different pattern of stitches, okay? So it will depend on how big, how large it is. Then we are going to use more or less of each color. So, but that's basically it. As we work, you will understand. Then, for us to start the project, we need the first measurement, which is the hip width, okay? You know, if you have seen other videos in this channel, you know that my hip width is 112 centimeters or 44 inches, okay? But I'm going to do it slightly smaller. I'm going to do a 110 centimeter wide skirt, or you can round it down to 43 inches, okay? And then obviously, for us to start, we need chains. And this is what you are going to do. We are going to do now. We are going to start with our first color and chain. We are going to chain, and then guys, pay attention not to tighten too much your chain. As you might have seen in one of our shorts for last week, I showed you the difference between a very tight chain and a normal chain. We're going to do a normal to loose chain, okay? Because we want this piece to be flexible. We are going to work in this skirt in a circular way, okay? So we don't have like some space to tie it down, okay? Now, a trick that I learned from the fantastic Annie Galante, she's one of my crochet idols here in Brazil, which is, you did some chains, and since the piece is circular, when it ends, you have to pay attention and then take care, pay attention that you are going to work in the same, like, you can't twist your chain. So what you're going to do, we are going to come here at the first chain you did, okay? We have just a few here, so it's easy. Then you're going to pull it way back on your hook, go here and continue doing your chains, okay? Never remove it from your hook until you finish the chains, so you can measure, and you will have your chain in the correct position to start working. So keep on doing it over there until you reach the width, the necessary width for your skirt, and then we'll be back to start with the pattern. So guys, I finished my chains here, okay? I have 180 chains, and I did something different. Okay, I told you that I was going to do my chains. I was going to use 110 centimeters or 43 inches, but I changed my mind. I'm going to do now. It's 104, so I'm going to do 104 centimeters or 41 inches, because when we start working with the pattern, it's going to grow a little bit. It's going to be a little bit wider, so that's okay. We're gonna have room to wear our skirt. And then there's another thing that we have to take into consideration when we are doing this chain. I told you that we are going to use 3 different patterns for this piece. One of them is that one that Dolce & Gabbana loves to use in their things. I think we used it in the Brazil core handkerchief, scarf. Yeah, in the Brazil scarf. And we taught how to do that that pattern here in our shorts. That's one that we are going to use. Another one that we are going to use is the shell stitch, and the other one is the crossed double crochet stitch. Okay, all these 3 stitches you can find here in the shorts. I teach them in the shorts. But for that, we need 3 criteria for our chains, for the number of stitches that we are going to have. The first one is the number must be a multiple of 15 stitches and a multiple of 5 and an even number. Wow, that's impossible. No, it's not. I have here 180 chains. It's divisible by 15, divisible by 5, and an even number. Okay, we need that because each of these patterns that we are going to use, they require something. The crossed double crochets needs to be an even number. The shell stitch needs to be multiple of 5. The Dolce & Gabbana stitch needs to be a multiple of 15. So we are covered, okay? We need to be covered. For us to start working, so remember I told you to insert your hook here and never let go? That's what I did. I never let go. I grew my chain here. And now we have our loop here. I'm just going to pull through, and we are going to use, now it's a little it shrank a little bit, but I'm going to insert my hook back into this first stitch. Now it wants to disappear on me. It's always like that, guys. When I start recording the video, it gets crazy. No, okay, but it worked. I'm going to do a single crochet here. Okay. Single crochet. Oh my God. It's a little tight, maybe. Chain 1. Then I'm going to skip 1 stitch. Okay. Come to the next stitch and do 2 double crochets. Chain 1, skip 1, go to the next 2 double crochets. And this is the repetition you are going to do until the end. Okay, chain 1, skip 1, 2 double crochets onto the next chain. You're going to repeat that, and when we reach here, we are going to finish off this row. So guys, I finished my first row. Okay, I did all the time 2 single crochets into the same chain, 1 chain, skip 1, and so on. Now we are at the end of the piece and we have 3 chains left. I have already chained one here. I'm going to skip one. Oh, it's here. And now I'm going to do 2 single crochets separately. So 1, and this one is the last one from the one with the knot, which is more difficult. Let me insert the hook here. And 2. And we finished the row, okay? Now we are going to start the cluster, the treble crochet cluster row. I'm going to close off this row with a slip stitch, okay? And usually, if you are doing a front and back piece, you would flip it and work the other side. We might do it when we are doing the shell stitch, okay? But not now. It's not necessary now in this with this stitch pattern. So I'm going to chain 4. It stands for our fake treble crochet. 1 more for the space. I'm going to yarn over twice, and then I'm gonna come in this space, this chain space we created in the first row, and I'm going to do a cluster of 5 treble crochets. But the thing is, they will be 5 treble crochets closed off together, okay? So we are going to start doing the stitch, but we are not going to close it off. 1, 2, and then we keep accumulating loops on the hook. 3, 4, and the last one, 5. Okay, I have 6 loops on my hook, and I'm going to close them off and chain 2, close it once and for all. I'm going to chain 1 more and do the same into the next space. So this is what's going to happen all along. Oops, I forgot one yarn over. All along the second row. Okay. We will meet again when we reach this point here. So guys, I finished my second row of treble crochet clusters. It's pretty nice. I really like it. And here I have already cut the yarn, because if we use this color again, it will be in like 10 rows or something. So it's gonna take a while for us to repeat this color, okay? And this is what we are going to do every time we change color. We are going to cut off the yarn, okay? We're not gonna work with lots of yarn hanging in our piece. So I finished here, cluster, okay? Then I did 1 chain to close off and another chain for the space. And here, if this were a piece that had front and back, I would do a treble crochet to finish off the row. But we already have a treble crochet here. It was our first stitch. So we are going to just close the row off with a slip stitch, chain 1, and tighten your row. So now we are going to weave in this tail as we do the next row. The initial idea was to have now black and then golden, but I changed my mind because I think that there will be more contrast between black and red, which is the next color, than golden and red. And there will be lots of contrast between golden, you see? Makes total sense, right? So that's what I'm going to do. Now, let me get my yarn here. We are going to work with a double yarn, double thread, okay? Because this yarn is very, very thin. It's a different, it's called Cordone. It's very shiny. Yeah. Oh, I think we used a piece of it to do the top. Yes, we used one yarn of this one and one yarn of Charme to do the top. So I'm going to have a slip knot here. And this is very slippery. This yarn is like terribly slippery. Ah, okay. Here it is. And now I'm not going to start my row here because we are going to do a row of single crochets. So we can start wherever we want. I'm going to come here, you know, in a space between two clusters. I'm going to do a single crochet. And guys, pay attention to the following. Now, we are going to do a single crochet on the top of the cluster, okay, and a single crochet in the space between clusters, okay. This is how it's going to happen. One single crochet on the top of the cluster and one single crochet in the space, because if you do, we technically have two chains here, but you are going to ignore one. You're going to use this one and then this space and crochet all around this row. Count your stitches because you must have the same number of stitches you had in the initial chain. In my case, I had 108 stitches, so I must have 180 stitches on this row. We'll meet each other when we reach here. So guys, I finished my row in golden, single crochet. As I told you, one single crochet on the top of the cluster and one in the interval between. So I have here my 180 stitches like my initial chain. Now we're gonna come here onto the first stitch. We're going to close it off, close the row with a slip stitch, chain one, and I left quite a long tail, okay? And I would recommend that you tied a little knot with this specific yarn because it's a little slippery, but I will see. I will try to, I will work with the black one now and see if I can avoid that. And now guys, we are going to do the same we have just done with the golden with the black. I'm going to do one row of single crochet in black. I'm going to choose another starting point here because the idea is nobody will know where you started, where you ended, and in this kind of construction it works pretty well. So we're going to do this row of single crochets in black, and then I'll be back to start the row in red because the stitch is going to be different, okay? Be right back. So guys, I finished my row in black exactly the same way I did the row in golden, so I didn't even come here to show you how to finish off the row because it's exactly the same way we did before, okay? And now you can see we already have something going on here, huh? It's nice, this contrast of colors, huh? Now guys, we are going to do our row in red in crossed double crochets, okay? The thing is, I'm still not sure if we are going to do one row or two rows in this pattern because it will depend how high it is. Probably we're gonna have two rows because since this was a treble crochet, the stitch here in the pattern is higher. So we'll probably do the same here for this one. But let's leave. Let's live. Let's go with the flow. I'm sorry, I was remembering the proverb. Go with the flow. So I'm gonna come here anyway, in any place. I have already my slip knot here. I'm going to insert my hook into any the single crochet. I'm going to fish the yarn, and I'm going to do a fake double crochet, which is 3 chains. Now I'm going to yarn over, and instead of doing a double crochet here, I'm going to skip this one and go to the 3rd stitch and do a double crochet. Then I'm gonna yarn over and go back to the stitch I skipped and do a double crochet. And this is how it's going to work all along the row. So I will always skip one, go to the next and do my double crochet, yarn over and go back to the one we had skipped and do another double crochet, and you can see the pattern forming. Okay, I'm gonna finish this row and then I'll be back so we can decide if we are going to do 2 rows or just one. So guys, finish this first row of cross double crochet, and as I suspected, I think it's too small. I want it to be the same size as the first one, as the Dolce Gabbana pattern. So I'm going to do one more row of cross double crochets. And here we have a trick, okay? So nobody will know where we started this row. I finished here the last group of the last pair of double crochets. Now we are going to yarn over and go here. So we have this first fake double crochet, and we have here the space where we did the 3rd one. Hold this first yarn here with your hand. Then you're going to do a double crochet here, and then you're gonna come on the top of this first fake stitch. It's not easy, as usual. Nothing is easy. Here. And then we are going to do a slip stitch. And it's pretty much disguised, okay? I wouldn't say it's not a real cross double crochet. Now, for us to start the second row, we're going to do the following. We're going to come to this next stitch, do a slip stitch. And on the 3rd stitch, we are going to do the same. But now we are going to do our fake double crochet, yarn over and go back to the previous stitch and do a real double crochet. And we are going to keep on doing the same thing we did in the previous row. Skip one, go to the next, do a double crochet, yarn over, go back to the one you skipped and do another double crochet. And then we are going to have cross double crochet over cross double crochet all around the row. Keep on doing this, guys. Finish the second row. I'm going to finish my second row, okay? And when we are here, I'm gonna come back, so I'm gonna give you some instructions. So guys, finish the second row of cross double crochets. Look how nice it's turning out. And as you can see, it's the similar size. This pattern and this pattern are now similar sizes, okay? Now, I'm going to close off this row. And then, guys, I have to say to you that what I warned you about before really happened. But we did create not only one stitch, we created 2 stitches. But it's a problem that is very easy to solve, and we are going to do it on the next row. So we are going to have now 2 rows of single crochets, one in golden and one in black, okay? On the first row, what you are going to do is you are going to do 2 decreases, but you are going to do 1 decrease on one side and another decrease on the other side. It's very simple. So you are going to start your row, single crochets, doing a single crochet. You are going to do, I don't know, 2, 3 single crochets, and then you are going to do a decrease. Remember the decrease. You're gonna fish the yarn, then you fish the yarn on the next row, yarn over, and close it off together. So this is how you do a decrease in single crochet. And then you are going to count. For example, in my case, I must have 180 points. So my middle is 90. I'm going to do a decrease, then I'm going to count 90 points and do another decrease, and that's it. Finish, problem solved. This one, you don't have any trouble. You don't need to pay attention to anything special because you have all the stitches here, the heads of the stitches. So that's what you're going to do. And I'm not going to start the single crochet rows with you because you know what to do. So I'm going to do my 2 rows here, and then I'll be back with the blue to show you how to do the shell stitch. So guys, finished my 2 intermediate rows. Look how nice, what special touch, like what a luxury item this skirt is going to be. It's very, very beautiful. Now we are going to do our shell stitch row, okay? I think we're gonna have to do 2 rows, okay? But one thing at a time. So let's start our row. Let me do a slip stitch, slip knot, I'm sorry. Then I'm gonna come here on any single crochet from the previous row. And here we are going to start, I'm trying to get the tail here. I'm going to start with a fake double crochet, which is 1, 2, 3. And then we are gonna have 2 more double crochets here into the same stitch, okay? And here I have half a shell, okay? Now skip 1, 2. On the 3rd stitch you're going to do a single crochet, yarn over, skip 1, 2, and then on the 3rd stitch you are going to do 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I have a complete shell here. Now 1, 2, on the 3rd, single crochet. And that's what you are going to do all along this row, guys. 1 shell of 5 double crochets, skip 2 single crochets, skip 2 a shell, and so it goes all around the row. When we are here, we will meet to close off this row and possibly start on the 2nd row. So guys, I finished my row in blue. Look how nice this mix of colors is turning out to be. I'm already in love with this piece. And then you remember that I've been reinforcing all along the video the importance for you to keep the number of stitches, because this specific number is perfect for the 3 types of patterns that we will be doing during our work. So for our Dolce & Gabbana stitch, we needed a number of stitches divisible by 15. For our crossed double crochet, we needed a number divisible by 2, which is pretty easy. We had that situation where we created 2 stitches, but that was not a big deal. Whenever we do it, that's what's gonna happen, but then we can just do the decreases in the next row, as we did before. And now for the shell stitch, we need a number of stitches that is divisible by 5, because look what happened. Here we had the shell, the single crochet, and then we have 1, 2. And here we had the half shell we did in the beginning. So we are going to close off doing a complete shell. Then we're gonna come here on the top of the first stitch, and we are going to close off with a slip stitch, okay? This yarn is a little, it always happens with you guys in the English video. The video in Portuguese, nothing happens. I don't know why. It's a conspiracy. I don't understand. Let me use my finger. Okay. So we have a slip stitch, okay? Then we don't need to turn our piece around to do the next row. We can work in another circular row of shell stitch. So how is it going to work? I'm going to chain 1, come here, do a single crochet, and then when I have this depression here and the single crochet, I'm going to do my shell with 5 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then where am I going to put my single crochet? In the middle of the next shell. So 1, 2, 3, single crochet. Next, oh, I have to hide this tail, shell. And this is what's going to happen all along this row, okay? You are going to do the same you did in the previous row, but every time you have a single crochet, you're gonna have a shell, and when you have a shell, you're gonna do a single crochet on the third double crochet. Then when you come to the end of the row, which will be here, you're going to do a shell here and close it off with a slip stitch and finish off. Cut the yarn and proceed to the 2 intermediate rows of golden and black. Then when you are finished, when I'm finished here and when you are finished there, we will be back to start our row in white. So guys, I finished my shell stitch in blue and did my 2 intermediate rows. Look how nice. I had a picture in my mind, but I didn't imagine it was going to look so good after ready. Well, it usually does, you know, crochet is magic. But anyways, from now on, guys, it's just a repetition of patterns, okay? But pay attention to how it's going to work. So we have here, okay, the Dolce & Gabbana stitch, the double crochet, cross double crochet, and the shell stitch. Now I'm going to change. My next color is white, okay? And for the next color, I'm going to do the cross double crochet, okay? Then we're gonna have the 2 intermediate rows. I'm gonna get my light brown, and my light brown is going to be in the Dolce & Gabbana stitch, okay? Then I'm gonna have the 2 intermediate rows. I'm gonna get my brown again, but this time the brown is going to be the crossed double crochet stitch. And so it's going to be like this. So Dolce & Gabbana, cross double crochet, shell, cross double crochet, Dolce & Gabbana, cross double crochet shell and sew this this pattern of cross double crochet is going to be our middle pattern. Okay, so and then you will alternate colors in the order, the same order that we use them: brown, red, blue, white, light brown, brown, red, blue, white, light brown, and so it goes, always using these two colors, golden and black, for the intermediate rows. Okay, and then you are going to keep working on your piece. Of course, if you don't want to follow this pattern, that's totally up to you. Okay, you can, oh no, I liked doing the Dolce Gabbana stitch better. Go ahead. I liked doing the cross double crochet better. Go ahead. I like doing the shell stitch better. It's your skirt, your project. Okay, and then you are going to do that. Okay, I'm going to start this next row here with you because I just came across another idea for us to start, for us to do this half double crochet, this this cross double crochet rows without worrying about increasing stitches. So we're gonna get our slip knot here. Okay, I'm going to insert into any single crochet. I'm gonna do a fake double crochet, and then what can we do? We're going to yarn over and go to the previous stitch, and we already have a cross double crochet pair. Let's do it again. Yarn over, go back. Okay, so I think we solved the problem. We're not gonna have the same problem we had here, but keep on counting your stitches. Okay, the number of stitches cannot change. If something changes, if this stitch changes it, or if this stitch changes it, you have to correct when you do the intermediate rows. Okay, guys, keep on going. Do your piece until the height on your legs that you want your skirt. And when you are done, we'll be back because we are going to do a finishing row in a different color, a different pattern, okay? And obviously, we are going to talk about the hem of your skirt. So guys, I finished my skirt. Look how beautiful it turned out. I'm impressed. I had this idea in mind, but you know, when you execute something and it turns out even better. Remember, before I talk about specific details, let me measure it. It turned out to be 39 centimeters or about 15 and a half inches long, because I don't like my skirts to be that short, but I don't like them too long either. And the idea for this skirt is to be a shorter skirt. Now, let's just talk quickly about what we did here. So we started with the Dolce Gabbana pattern. Then we used the cross double crochet pattern, the shell stitch pattern, and then I always alternated between the shell stitch and the Dolce Gabbana. I alternated with a cross double crochet line, I'm going to say, because we did 2 rows practically. Yes, the only stitch that we did a base row and the stitch per se row was the Dolce Gabbana, because the cross double crochet was 2 stitches, the shell stitch were 2 stitches, and so on. Okay, I did each color 3 times, as you can see, and then we followed the sequence that we told: brown, red, blue, white, and beige, and between each color we had golden and black. Right? Now we are going to do 2 more parts and then it will be over. We are going to do the ruffle of our skirt and then the hem. For the bottom, okay, we have no beginning or end because we always alternated the beginning of the rows, but in these 2 first rows of Dolce Gabbana stitch, I did this. I had just a single treble crochet in the beginning, and then when I did the others, I just eliminated it and I did a cluster, and it worked the same way. So here's the tip: if you are watching the video before you started executing, that's the tip I'm gonna give you. Just skip it. Okay, but then we are going to use our last color, the beige or light brown, sand, however you want to call it, to do a beautiful finishing to our skirt. So I'm gonna come here sort of in the middle. I'm gonna do a single crochet to start my piece. Okay, then I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chains, and then I'm gonna come here and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and do a single crochet. One more time: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm gonna skip here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I do a single crochet. And this is what you are going to do here. You're going to repeat this pattern until the end, and then when we are here, we will meet again. So guys, finished this first row. Okay, there will be 3 rows of this finishing part, and we had a number divisible by 5, so it's quite obvious that when we finish here, we do our 5 chains, and then we would have to put our to do the single crochet here on this stitch, but we need to close off the row, so we're just gonna skip this one and do a slip stitch in the first single crochet we did in the row. Okay, and then we have finished the first row. Now to start the second row, we are going to do 1, 2 single crochets into the first chain, and then we are going to yarn over, and into this next chain we are going to do 9 9 double crochets. So let's do it with me. So I'm gonna go here and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're gonna come into the next chain, do a single crochet. We're going to chain 5, 3, 4, 5, into the next chain, single crochet, and now 9 double crochets into the next chain. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And this is going to be the repetition you are going to do along the second row. So we began with 2 the single crochets just to reach the middle of the chain, then 9 double crochets onto the next chain, 1 single crochet into the next chain, chain 5, single crochet, then 9 single crochets onto the next chain, and you are going to repeat this pattern all along the row. And then we will reach here. When we reach here, we will see if it's going to turn out okay or if we will need to adapt. But hold on, crochet away and we will meet here. So guys, I finished the second row, okay? Oh, and I have a correction to make. They are not going to be 3 rows, they're going to be 4 rows because the 4th row is so simple that I didn't even count it. But anyway, the effective rows will be 3 and then a last one. But anyways, in this row, remember I told you that we could have a problem at the end, but that's not my case, okay? My case is I finish here the last shell with 9 double crochets. Then I have the chain. I'm gonna do a single crochet. I'm gonna chain 5, 3, 4, 5. And then here we worked on 2 single crochets before we started the shell onto the next chain. And then we are going to come here on top of the second single crochet and close the row off with a slip stitch. And that's perfect. We have shell, chain, shell, chain, shell, chain, and so on, okay? If in your case, in your number of stitches, if you have this shell here, then you will create this chain and then close it off here, okay? You're gonna have to create one more space, but that was not our case here. Now, let's start the third row. So, let's go to the next, the top of our double crochet, okay? I'm going to pull the chain and do a single crochet, then 1, 2, we have our fake double crochet. I'm going to chain one more, yarn over and go on to the next double crochet and do a double crochet. Chain, yarn over, double crochet. Chain, yarn over, double crochet. Chain, yarn over, double crochet, we're almost there. Chain, yarn over, double crochet, chain, yarn over, double crochet. It kind of sounds like a mantra. Chain, yarn over, double crochet, chain, yarn over, and I think, yeah, that's the last. Double crochet. So, as you can see, for each double crochet in the shell, you have 1 double crochet separated by a chain. That's what you are going to do every time you reach the shell. Then, when you have the chain, the intermediate chain between shells, you are going to do a single crochet, yarn over, and start again. Double crochet, chain, yarn over, double crochet, chain, yarn over, and so it goes. So this is the repetition that you have for this third row, okay? 9 double crochets with a chain between each of them, single crochet into the chain, 9 double crochets with separated by a chain, and so on. So guys, you're going to repeat that and When we reach here, we are going to meet to do now the last row. So guys, I finished the row. As you can see, here was the beginning, the 9 double crochets with a chain in the middle. Here I did my last shell, then the single crochet into the chain, and then I'm gonna come here on the top. Let me see, yeah, that's the one. Gonna here at the top of our fake double crochet, and I closed it off with a slip stitch. And then we have this kind of big shell, okay? Now we are going to do a row of picot stitch. I showed you already how to do it. Here we're going to do it slightly different, okay? But I'm gonna give you 2 ideas. First idea is, now you're going to use the space, the chain between double crochets, okay? So I'm gonna go to the next one, do a single crochet, chain 2 very loosely, okay? Skip this stitch and go to the next single crochet, chain 2, next space, single crochet, and so it goes, okay? Leave your stitch very loose because you want to give this idea of volume, okay? You don't want it to be like stretched or flat, too flat for that matter. Here, it was the last space. I'm gonna come here. Oh no, still have one. Sorry, I didn't see it. Now, yeah, so 2, I'm gonna come on the single crochet, do a single crochet, chain 2, and then, oops, no, not here. I'm gonna go on the space between the stitches and do the single crochet and the 2 chains. And you're going to repeat that until the end of the row. Another idea is, instead of doing 2 chains, you can do 3 chains, okay? Or another idea, you can use the space and the stitch, so it will give you even more volume, okay? But I will continue doing it like this, and I'm gonna meet you here at the end so we can go to the hem. So guys, I finished here. In the end, I did the way I explained to you how to do. I did just a single crochet and 2 chains, always skipping, doing in the middle. And then I reached the end of the row. I have already cut my yarn. So I'm gonna come here on the top of the first single crochet I did. I'm gonna do a slip stitch, chain 1, and that's it. I like to do this for precaution. And then I'm gonna weave in this tail into the piece. And here we have the bottom of our skirt, okay? It's not too frilly, but it's not straight like it would be if we had stopped here. It's just an interesting detail to it, okay, to give it some movement. And now we are going to talk about the hem, okay? For the hem, we have 3 alternatives, okay? 2 alternatives are with an elastic band, and 1 alternative is with a cord. So I'm going to start talking about the elastic band alternative because I'm not going to do it here, but I'm going to explain to you how to do it in case you want to do it. So first thing, and here's what we have. Remember I told you we needed this optional measurement, which would be the waist measurement. So what are you going to do? You're going to get an elastic band, okay? This is a 2 centimeter one, or 1 inch, practically 1 inch, almost 1 inch and I don't know, 3/8. I don't know, it's practically 1 inch, okay? But centimeters, 2 centimeters. Then, what are you going to do? You're going to cut your elastic band on the circumference of your waist, or where in your body you are going to have your skirt, okay? It could be like below your waist, on your hips, on your belly button, whatever you want. So you're gonna have this measure plus 1/2 inch or 1 centimeter, cut it, then fold it in half, okay? And you are going to sew it by hand, okay? Leave like 1/2 centimeter here, just like a very tiny space like this, but you have to sew it, okay? Or you can use a sewing machine, which I would recommend because then the sewing will be stronger. But whatever, if you don't have a sewing machine, use thread and needle, no problem, okay? So you're going to close it off, the circumference. First option, you are going to use this part of your skirt, or you are going to do like 2 centimeter, in this case, a 2 centimeter row, okay, on top of this part. I'm gonna show you how to start it in a minute. And then you are going to attach it to your skirt, use some pins to fix it very well, and then you are going to sew it by hand or using a sewing machine, okay? So on this side and then on this side. This is one alternative. The second alternative is you're gonna get the height of your elastic band, and you are going to do a hem here twice as big. So for example, if I have 2 centimeters here, I'm gonna have a 4 centimeter hem here, okay? Then once I'm finished, I'm going to represent it with this part. Let's pretend this is our finished hem. 2 centimeters here, 2 centimeters here. You are going to fold it, okay? You are going, of course, to place your band inside it, okay? And then either you are going to sew using a tapestry needle, so you can use the yarn, the very yarn you used, or you can do a row of slip stitches, which I would recommend because it gets strongly fixed here. Okay, so these are the two alternatives if you are going to use an elastic band for the hem of your skirt. I'm not going to, as I told you, I'm going to do something simpler. I'm going to use a cord for to hold my skirt into my waist. So I'm gonna go back here. Remember, I chose this side here to be our be the beginning. Slip knot as usual. Okay, I'm going to insert my hook here. Do a single crochet. Oh, it always happens with you, I told you. Then I'm going to chain 1, 2 more. I have a fake double crochet here. Chain 1 more, yarn over. Then I'm going to skip 1 stitch, come to the next and do a double crochet. Chain 1, skip 1 stitch, and then in this case with the Dolce & Gabbana stitch, this accounted for one stitch and this accounted for another. So I will always, oops, I forgot to yarn over. I will always use the top or the bottom of the stitch to do my double crochet. Chain one, yarn over. I'm going to skip the space and go to the stitch, and I'm going to do a row of this all around the hem of my skirt because I'm going to do a cord. So I'm gonna finish it here and then I'll be back to work on the cord. So guys, I finished here my cord hem of the skirt. Here I have already cut my yarn because I finished this. I did one stitch here, one chain, then I'm gonna come here on the top of a stitch. I'm going to do a slip stitch, chain one, then I'm gonna pull it like this and I have my hem ready. Okay, now guys, for the cord it's very simple because we need a measure that we already have. We need the size of your hips. We use the size of the hips to do our skirt, okay? So you need that size plus half. In my case, I know that for my hip, I have 108 stitches. So I'm gonna have 180 stitches plus half of it, which is 90. So I'm going to do a chain of 270 stitches. And you're going to do that. You're going to get the number of stitches you used here on your skirt plus half, and then you have the cord. So I'm gonna do my cord here. You're going to do your cord there. I'm going to insert it into these spaces, and then we'll be back together to finish our video. So guys, that's it. Finished. As you can see, I have already placed my cord onto the hem. I left these two spaces here because I like to have at least one interval here. I think I'm gonna do something here at the back, so because you know I'm perfectionist. But anyway, so the skirt is ready and it looks fantastic. Okay, it's not a quick project. Okay, I took about 10 to 15 hours to do all of it. Okay, maybe it's because of the yarn, maybe it's because of the hook, which is a low size hook, a low size yarn. So it takes longer, but as you can see, the result is worth every minute, okay? And then, you know, you can do any color you want. I used this pattern here, these colors that Mel and I chose. But of course, you can choose whatever colors you want. If you want to do it all in one color and just do the same, it's your skirt, your choice. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna do one in the Brazil core theme, closer to the World Cup. But you can choose the colors of your country. I'm totally sure it's gonna be fantastic. Okay, guys. Well, if you haven't until now, subscribe to the channel, set the notifications so we'll always know when we have a new video. Like this video, leave a comment down there saying what you think of this project, and share this video with everybody you know who loves crochet, or with that person you know is going to do this piece for you. Okay, thank you very much for watching and see you next video. Bye bye.